In the UK, many people are taught to reverse into a parking space like this. Pick a space you want, then count 3 lines. So that's the first line, that's the second line, and that's the third line. Line the third line up with somewhere on your door. In this case, it will be the middle of this door handle for me in this car. And you steer all the way to the right or left, depending on what space you're going into. Make sure it's safe before you reverse, and then reverse in. And with a bit of luck, you've got it right, and the car goes in to your space. Like so. Voila. The main problem with this method is that it does not teach you the skill of using your mirrors to reverse your car back between 2 objects or 2 lines on the road. And where you line the third line up on the door will change from car to car. So when you change cars or when you drive somebody else's car, you're not going to feel very confident in your parking ability. And it severely limits where you can park. I'm going to give you an example of how this method limits where you can park. I parked into this space here with a little wet patch from my air conditioning. Now, to get in that space, I had to line my car up with 1, 2, 3. So I had to drive over here, close to this wall, and line this line up with the side of my car or the door to park in that space there. What if I wanted this space, or this space? I've got nowhere to go because this wall is in the way. And what if I wasn't wanting to reverse into a parking space? What if I wanted to reverse into a driveway or a garage? You're not going to have lines to help you there. One of the best tips I can give you when it comes to reversing into anywhere is to make sure you get whatever it is you need to reverse into behind you first. It may sound straightforward and fairly obvious, but it's very common for my pupils to try and reverse into parking spaces that are next to them. Even if the parking space is directly behind the car, you still won't have the small enough turning circle to be able to make it into that space. The car will go a lot further than you probably expect, as you can see here. I'm going to show you how I would reverse into the last space on the right. So what I do is I get the space behind me. To do that, I'm going to get as close as I can to the space, but leave myself enough room to steer to the left. Now, I know if there was cars in these parking spaces, I wouldn't be able to do this method, but there might be loads of space over here, just no space over there. So in that situation, all you need to do is steer to the left, make sure no one's coming past you, and try and get the back of your car in line with the space. So here's the space now in the wing mirror, not in line with the back of the car yet. I can go forward a bit more. Okay, and now the space is starting to get behind me. Can't quite, well, I can see a little bit of it in that mirror. So now I'm going to straighten the wheel, pop it in reverse. If it goes in, I have to do the come off the clutch and push the clutch down method, because that's one of the few times when it won't go into reverse first time. Nope, still not going in. Tell you what, let's do that again. There we go, it's gone in. Thank you very much. That doesn't often happen. So now I'll look around and make sure no one's behind me, and I'll come back, and now I'm going to aim for that space. I'm steering over here because I need to get closer to the space here, and now I can see the space in this mirror, and you can see this line's going to be beside the car, and this line, the length of it here, represents how far I'm going to be away from, or how far I'll be from this line. So I'm going to come back until I am close to the space, which is around about here, if you can see that there. The mirror has dipped in reverse to help me see what I'm doing. So now all I need to do is take this angle off. At the moment, the back of my car is pointing over there. So I need to steer over there to straighten up. So I'm going to steer over there. And you see now I start to line up with the line. Not too much steering, a bit too much there, take some off. There we go, it's coming around a bit more gradually now. And a little bit more. Now the car and the line are lined up with each other. on both sides, and I can come back. I'm a little bit closer to this side than I am from this side. You can't really see in that mirror very well anymore. So what I can do is just put it in first gear, go all the way out forwards. So I've got a good view. Now I can see both lines clearly. Yep, I'm a bit closer to this one here. So I'll look round again, make sure it's safe for me to reverse. And all I need to do is steer a little bit closer to this line over here. There we go. And then I can straighten up and try and get them roughly centered. I think that's about halfway. This is a very, very big space. The reverse sensor is just going off because of the shrubbery that is growing around here. And then when I'm in the space, which is around about here, yep, that looks good. I'm done. Oh, and it's quite common for manual cars not to want to go into reverse first time every time. I have a video all about it in the top right hand corner of your screen, but it's nothing to worry about. Well, it's all well and good me getting into this last space by using all this space over here, but what if there was parked cars here? Then what would I do? I'm going to pretend that there's cars in all of these spaces apart from the last one on the right. That's my only option. So I can't use the space over there. There's loads of cars over there. Well, I have two options. The first option is to shuffle. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to try and get the back of the car pointing towards that space by essentially doing a 3-point turn or a 7-point turn. You can only really do this if there's room. There's not really room here, but I'm going to try anyway. So I'm going to steer all the way to the left, make sure no one is overtaking me there, and then go all the way up to where the cars would be. I'd say I'd be very close to the cars now, can't go any further forward than that. Steer all the way to the right, select reverse. Yep, went in first time that time. Make sure it's safe to go again and come back until you're close. I usually find when the line is near the bottom of the window here, the line in front of those bays, that means you're close. I'd say about there. I can see in the mirror as well, my back's very, very close now. So steer all the way to the left. So you're basically switching the steering and then switching the direction. So I'm going first gear all the way to the left. And when I get near these spaces, which I am now, I'll turn all the way to the right and then change my direction as well. So now I'm going all the way to the right and backwards. And eventually you will be pointing towards your space. Now this is quite an extreme example because there really isn't much room here. There is another option which I'll show you soon. I think on this one I'm actually going to get it though. Yes, just about. That would be very close to the cars now, so I've got to steer the other way again and then reverse. So you're just switching the steering and switching the direction. Forwards, backwards, left and right. Keep switching both of them. And now I'm just about not going to hit the cars behind, but I'm not quite good yet because the space is behind me, but I haven't got a good angle towards it. So I'm going to go forwards like this. And now I can see the space I want in the mirror. So all I need to do is select reverse and guide my car into that space using that mirror, which I can do like this. No one's coming. I'm going to get my bum or the back of the car away from the space a bit to help with the turning circle. And then I'm going to try and guide the car, start steering about now I'm getting near it, into that space. I'll make sure it's still safe by looking round. And I'll get back to the job at hand. You see, I'm steering that way to get closer to that line. And if I'm getting too close, I can steer away from it. And I reckon I need maximum turn now. Hopefully that will go in. I can use this mirror as well to see how I'm doing with the line on this side, which is just starting to appear. And where's that line gone? Oh, there it is. I see it again. It's coming in there now. Now the car and the line are straight. On both sides, I can straighten the wheel. Now I got it in first this time because I'm aware of how wide this space is. You can see the space near the wall is actually wider than the rest of them, which is why I have to be further from that line than usual to be in the center. And now I'm at the back of the space. I can feel like I'm in the middle of the spaces next to me, so I know the car is in. I'm done. Now that was clearly laughably awkward. I had to go forwards and backwards loads of times. I call that shuffling, to get the back of the car facing the space because there was such a narrow amount of space to use. So here's another option. If there really isn't enough room to shuffle, like over there where it's so narrow, what you can do is just reverse up there. The space is on the end on the right. That's the one that we were using before. And let's say there's cars in all of them, and you happen to know that's free. Well, reverse up there. Obviously there's a learner in the way at the moment, but all you would do is go over here to begin with, like so, or just find anywhere where you can turn around where it's not as awkward as this very narrow space we've got. And this is a very easy way to turn around, just by going the wrong way in the car park on this occasion, then looking round and then reversing up to your space. Obviously you have to wait for that learner to get out of the way, and then I'll be able to do it. Learner's now gone, so I can continue reversing. So to summarise, you need to get the space behind you and in your wing mirrors. If you can see it in your wing mirrors, then you can guide the car into the space. Here is a very handy way of practicing your skill for reversing in between two lines or two objects. Go to a car park like this where the space is in front of you and behind you. And what you do is you just try to reverse into spaces either side of you that are behind you. That builds your skill for using the steering wheel whilst looking at the mirrors, and helps you guide the car into spaces behind you. It's just like driving forwards. Everyone needs practice driving forwards and steering, although that is a bit easier. It's the same skill for going backwards, but if you don't do it, you won't get good at it. So I'm going to put it in reverse, and I'm going to go for that space on the right of me. Look round and make sure it's safe. There's actually a person over there, so we'll have to wait. Okay, it all looks good now. So now I'm going to go into that space. I'm going to reverse by steering towards it. You see, now the back of the car is heading towards it, starting to go out of view, which means it's behind me. That's a good sign. I can pick it up in this mirror now, which is easier. I can see more of the line and the space in that mirror. Straightening the car now to head towards the space, and now I'm getting near the space. I want to straighten the car so that I'm in line with the two lines either side of me. See, the car's coming around to that line. I can compare on this side, looks fairly even. Let's have another look round because there's some kids around. No one behind me though. So let's go a little bit further until I'm straight. There you go, that looks straight. Straighten the wheel. I'm in the space, and come back until you feel you're all the way back. Line just under the wing mirror. Turn those things off. Around about here. That's a good way to judge if you're in on most hatchbacks. The line in front of the space will be just under your wing mirror. I genuinely find the best way to help my pupils with reversing is to teach them how to use the mirrors when they reverse. I give them plenty of practice doing it, and once they're good at that, reversing does get a lot easier. And it's exactly the same for reversing into a garage. Now I know this isn't exactly a garage, but it works. So I need to get the back of my car pointing towards the space between the two walls. So make sure no one's coming around me. Go all the way over here somewhere, so the back of my car is pointing towards it. I can start looking at my mirror now to see where it is. So it's beside me. I want it behind me. There we are, it's behind me there. There's a gap between the wall and the car, which is good. And if I look at the other side, there's a gap between the wall and the car there. That's what you want. Ideally, the gaps, the spaces either side want to be as even as possible. It's a bit bigger on the left on this occasion. So I'll straighten the wheel, pop it in reverse, just make sure it's safe for me to go back, and then I just need to guide the car between the walls using the mirrors. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, it is once you know how and you've had practice. Reversing into a driveway is much the same. I want to reverse into one of the driveways here near this drop curb. Well, I'll stop next to my driveway. I'll signal if there's anyone behind and tell them I'm stopping, so that I'm in the middle of the driveway I want. Then I wait until the road is clear in both directions. So I'll forward this now until that is the case. Okay, looking clear. So all you need to do is go over there to get the back of the car pointing towards your driveway in the time it's taken me to say that someone else has come and gone, so it's okay. Quick blind spot check to make sure it's safe. Steer to the right until you can see it in your mirror. There you go, there's the drive. So now straighten the wheel, pop it in reverse, and then I could reverse the car into the driveway. See, compare both sides using both mirrors, and that's all it takes. If, however, it's a very busy road, you may be waiting a very long time. So in that situation, I think it's better to drive forwards into the driveway and reverse out, because you'd be waiting ages for the road to be clear for you to reverse in. But when you start reversing out, someone may take pity on you and let you out. At least that's my tactic. Well, I hope this video helps you understand how you can get into the more awkward spaces or into driveways or garages. Get the space behind you, learn how to use your mirrors. If you think the video helps, please give it a thumbs up. Check out Collingwood and Confused in the description. If you're learning to drive and want to insure yourself on somebody else's car, Collingwood are there to help you. You can insure yourself on somebody else's car without affecting their policy or risking their no claims bonus. And via the link at the moment, there's up to 35% off and a £20 Amazon gift card. Check out confused.com via the link. If you want to insure your own car, you fill out one quote form, get loads of quotes back from many insurers to compare the price, and you can change the car on that quote as many times as you like to find out how much it costs to insure different cars. Using the links doesn't cost you anything, but it does support the channel. Thank you very much if you use the links. Check out Facebook and Instagram if you wish, and subscribe to get my future videos. And until the next one, cheerio.